Hey, it's Princess Callie here, and today I'm coming at y'all with a how I draw Princess Morbucks video. Oh my god, finally! I know. I've gotten quite a few asks and comments about this, so I feel like I should make a video for you guys. Now, let me tell you, this isn't going to be an easy 1, 2, 3 step kind of thing. Drawing is a really hard and complicated process. Well, at least for me. And depending on what I'm drawing, I often change the way I do things. And sometimes my process changes every time I pick up my tablet pen. So in this video, I'm just going to be giving you guys some tips and guidelines that I have when I'm drawing Princess in my style. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and let's get this thing started. So first things first, I always start off with drawing this round circle oval shape for her head. Now I'm going straight into the face. I feel like the face and its expression have to be the most important part of the body, and it sometimes even determines how I pose the body, because you know, the facial expressions have to match the body expressions. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I think you do. Now I'm doing a very classic expression that I usually draw Princess in. The seductive, sly grin. Notice how I draw the eyes by using a slightly curved line and then a little half oval underneath. The curved line represents the eyelid and the half oval represents her pupil or eyeball, if you already haven't noticed that. Next are the eyebrows, which one is drawn down like you would draw if someone's angry and one is cocked up. I feel like if you're really going for that cocky sly look, then these are the eyebrows you gotta draw. The sly grin drawn upwards also completes the expression. Then you know, I gotta draw a cute little nose and freckles. So a quick little lesson on printing expressions. There are 3 main parts of the face that makes an expression. The eyebrows, the eyes, and the mouth. Unfortunately, the nose doesn't do squat. Change any one of those and you can make a totally new expression. First, we have the raised eyebrows, big eyes, and the small, almost unnoticeable mouth. This expression kind of gives that childlike curiosity look. We just need the question mark over her head. Quickly changing the mouth and the eye shape, those lines under her eyes usually mean she's squinting her eyes or that thing your cheeks do to your eyes when you're smiling too hard. And it makes a totally new look. Now she's like super happy. Smaller pupils usually mean a more serious expression. I like putting those 2 small lines beside her eyes to really emphasize the shock look. Eyebrows and eyes curved upwards can give off a sad look. And basically you can go as extreme as you want with the expression with some experimenting. Going back to our sly grin printing. I fixed up the head because it was lopsided AF. Then I go ahead and draw the top part of her hair by parting it down the middle and drawing it down the sides of her face like so. Notice how her hair is raised off her head to give it more depth. Then I go ahead with the details of her hair. Now on to the body. I kind of figured that the reason people ask me how I draw Prinny is she can be kind of difficult to draw since she has no neck. And you know, you kind of realize how important that is to drawing the rest of the body somewhat correctly. So depending on what I'm drawing, I either start off with her shoulders or her breast. First, I start off with a C-shaped line for her left breast, then a small curved line underneath for the right. Once I decide that's the best place for them, then I'll start drawing the shoulders. Then you know, edit that one boob because it was too big. Now we're moving on to a new doodle so you can see the process again and how it slightly changed from the first time. Next is the waist. I start with the left side and draw a curved line downwards, and I do the same for the right side but adding that little back bump, then continuing down. Then I'll continue on with the hips. A good guideline I have for determining how large to draw them is they're about the same width as Prinny's shoulders. Could be larger depending on how her legs are posed, like in this doodle. Next are the legs. The top part of her hips are about the length of her torso, and the bottom part of her legs flare outwards starting from the kneecap and are a bit longer in length than her top portion. I do the rest of the right arm, and a good guideline I have for the length is about halfway down her thigh. The body looks kind of big here, so I'm adjusting the head a bit. For the hands, I do basic shapes and add more details later. We finish up the legs and add the clothing details. I fix additional mistakes along the way. Then I go back and draw the hair. See how I changed my process from before? And there, we're done with that doodle. Now on to different views. Here's a profile view. First I start off with about the same size oval as before. Then I'll draw a little curved triangle shape for her nose. For her eyes, the length of her eyelid is shorter because of perspective or whatever. Erase a part of the nose, then draw the mouth and then erase the outside of the face so the mouth looks like it's open. The hair is similar to what we drew the first time. Just make sure it's not too bulky in the front. That kind of looks weird. Then continue with the rest of the details. Then it's the breast, then the back bump again, you know. The waist and the hips are next. Kind of like what we did the first time, but not really. Now the part that everyone's been waiting for. The backside. Pretty's most prized possession and what my version of Princess is most known for. But we'll get to that later. First, the head starts off similarly to what we did in the profile view part. Back views are kind of tricky, but my guideline is to kind of see it as a reverse 3/4 view, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't. First, I just start with the shoulders, and then I continue down with the back and the breast. Then I skip down to the booty and start drawing a large C shape and then a similar shape right next to that one. If you're wondering how I determine the size of her booty, it's roughly the size of her head. Make sure the waist isn't too long, and then we'll just draw everything else. Just watch the video. And here's another example with her booty poked out a little bit more. And here's me drawing more examples, but I'm pretty sure you get the idea. Though I did want to talk about some of the guidelines I talked about and how they're pretty consistent throughout my pics. I didn't go into detail about this, but Prinny is about 4.5 heads tall. The first head is her head, obviously. The second head is her torso, and her third head is her hips and upper portion of her legs. The fourth head is her bottom legs, and the last half head is her feet. And I did mention that her lower half of her legs are longer than the second part of her legs. Follow this and you'll always get her proportion and height right. The second one just shows that her hips are usually aligned with her shoulders. The third one shows that the size of her booty is about the size of her head. And this one seems kind of strange, but her breast size is kind of the width of her eyes. I don't know, seems right to me. And that's all I gotta show you about how I draw Prinny. But let's take what we learned and draw one last pic of her for good old times.